Michelle Beadle returned to the news cycle. I don't know if you saw this, but she was on a podcast with Lou Williams and a white guy who I didn't even look up. Lou Williams, former NBA player. I'm not sure who the white guy is in this video. Maybe you can help me out. Maybe someone in the chat can help us out. But she dropped the N-word when talking about the Denver Nuggets, and people are upset about it. Let's play the video first of Michelle Beadle, the former ESPN hostess, dropping the N-bomb on this podcast. Play the clip.
Michael Porter Jr. recently said, I don't like this, that if the Nuggets don't win this,
that was a good one.
Don't try to get me on that. They might have to break up the team. Lou, are you buying that this is the last dance for the Denver Nuggets?
I'm buying
Nuggets.
I'm buying it. Beadle, you're going to be in trouble today.
That's not fair. It's not even a thing. It's not even a word.
Sounded like it.
You would love that.
Listen, anyways, I'm buying it. All good things come to an end.
I don't like hearing it, though.
And it feels
we didn't like
hearing that either.
We sure did. I'm sweating.
It's all right, Beadle. You covered in the cloth. I got you. Ain't nobody going to say nothing.
She's good.
No, I'm sweating.
But
Let me translate Lou Williams. Yeah, Beadle, you good. I tapped that already. You good. You in the club. You've been given the black scene. But maybe that's not. Listen, I don't have, this isn't a big deal to me. It's not. And I don't like the N-word. I don't use it myself. I don't like hearing it. But in this culture that we've created, I'm not justifying it. I'm just not going to do the cosplay. I'm like, oh my God, she's racist, and this is the worst thing in the world. Other people are however, and they're mostly blaming Lou Williams for laughing publicly at a friend of his that, accidentally dropped the N-word. Sounded like she's, comfortable with that word and perhaps uses it off camera with her black friends. No. I don't think it'll despard, because, Stephen, I'm just going to tell you, having dated, my fair share of Caucasian women, and I've seen them think, I took the black scene, I can now talk like a rapper. And it's like, I've taken your black scene, Whitlock, and I can now talk like a rapper. I had a Jewish friend that, thought she could use the N-word like a rapper and talk about niggas. And that was our falling out and the end of our, I was like, nah, I don't hear it from black folks, I don't hear it from white folks. But this is the culture. This is the mentality of young people and people that feel like, no, I've slept with a black guy, I can say whatever I want. Josina Anderson, the former ESPN broadcaster, NFL reporter, maybe still works for the CBS network, I'm not sure. She tweeted out, why is Lou Williams laughing? I'm looking at him in particular. Moreover, it's not his responsibility, nor should it feel like his instinctual duty to fill this awkward moment with a disinfecting giggle as the resident African-American former baller on the set. Regardless, if it was a slip or not, the slur it sounded like is not funny in and of itself. Next time, stay quiet. Let it be what it is. White woman has taken the black scene, perhaps even Lou Williams' black scene. I'm just sorry. It's funny to them. I get it. Don't agree with it, but I'm not upset with Lou Williams. I'm not really upset with Michelle Beadle. Steve, your thoughts?
Now, do I think Beatlemania is racist in any way? Nuggets, please. However, let me point this out. The very same people that she panders to, I said it. It's a good thing she doesn't cover the New York Knickerbockers. There used to be a nickname there that was really bad back in the day. But the very same people she panders to on a daily basis are now the mob coming after her. I find that very, very hilariously ironic. But again, I think it's slip of the tongue. I remember, Jason, a couple years ago, we covered the story of the Oakland A's. They had an announcer who visited the Negro League Museum, and he slipped up. And I just told everybody, just call it Da Museum now. Just don't even get tripped up. Don't lose your job over this. You meant well. So there is an irony that the same people that Michelle Beadle asked for favors and probably goes out of her way to please are now the ones coming at her with a pitchfork and all the flaming knives and all that other stuff.
When we release this conversation as a separate, let's make sure on the thumbnail it says Nuggets, please. Make sure that's on the thumbnail. That is absolute gold. Let's be honest. The insurance model is broken. Crowd Health puts your health care back in your hands. Use the promo code FEARLESS at joincrowdhealth.com. That's joincrowdhealth.com, promo code FEARLESS. Let me see. Here's where I am bothered. Let's say Lou Williams and Michelle Beadle hadn't said anything, and Michelle Beadle wasn't on the show, but she heard some conservative black man or some athlete that she didn't like say, bitch, please. Let's suppose she had heard that. And everybody laughed it off. He said it in a joking fashion, blah, blah, blah. She would feign offense and try to get that person destroyed. Yeah, and this is, again, where this is my problem with Michelle Beadle, and I talked about it in the Beef video, that I'm telling you, Michelle Beadle used to be a really likable, down-to-earth person, approachable, good-spirited, and then she turned into a hag or to a social justice warrior,
female
fought police, went after feminists, went after Stephen A. Smith and others, and just everything was so serious and everything had to be And so if we applied her standards that she applies to men she doesn't like, I would be sitting here irate calling for her to be canceled. She wants mercy. She wants for people to understand her in context. Is that what she's been giving to people throughout her career? I hope this is a teachable moment, learning moment for Michelle Beadle. And I say that in all seriousness because I'm telling you, Michelle Beadle used to be a fun-loving, good person. Then they figured out, the wind is blowing, and the wind is blowing my direction. If I go on TV as an angry feminist and use my power to destroy these men who I disagree with and pretend like Michael Vick is Satan himself and all these other people and football is the worst thing on the planet, Michelle, cut it out. You came up as the girl everybody wanted to have a beer with and talk sports and watch a football game with. Stay in that lane rather than the thought police and social justice warrior. This is nothing. I completely agree with you, Steve Kim. Nuggets, please.
Isn't it interesting that, so they won't really go after her because she's woke and they get to assume her intentions. Yeah. And so if a conservative person, it wouldn't be the be please or whatever. For me, what if Sam Will Cain, perfect. Yeah. What if Will Cain stumbled over his words? You get to assume intentions. Well, it's because of his implicit bias. It's because you white people sit around all the time and it did just slip out. It's because you talk like that. Your whole life, you and your secret white society, you guys just go and then you say the N-word and you giggle together. That's how this really works. For her, it's like, nah, she's woke. We know she would never say that. She just tripped over her word nuggets. That is the danger of assuming intentions. It's also really stupid, right? I mean, the idea that you wouldn't just stumble over a word sometime and that it sounded like something else. We all just need to stop and let the moment breathe. It should be uncomfortable. Feel how uncomfortable this is. It's absurd.
Yeah.
It's
and one
funny
last thing.
to watch a situation. Steve, real quick, it's funny to watch people laughing over somebody saying something incorrectly. That was a refreshing moment. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it makes us uncomfortable because we've been so conditioned to think that is such an outrage. But actually what took place there was it was a funny mistake and they laughed at it. And it's weird that we have to kind of challenge ourselves to see that as normal. That's a normal reaction.
So I don't, and Steve, I'm gonna give you the final word here, but it's like, I don't like the N-word.
I don't either.
Hard ER, hard AS, any of that. I'm very consistent. But, and I don't care who says it, black, white, it's all the same. I don't like it. We've normalized it, pushed it into society, bringing it all the way around to country music. It's like, this is why I was just like, what are y'all trying to do to Morgan Wallen? This guy gets liquored up. He's runs around with other musicians. Sure, he runs around with black musicians. He's young. All these young kids, black, white, whatever, they use the N-word. He's liquored up. He's trying to get into his house, and he drops the N-word on the hidden camera or the camera or whatever, not in some sort of malicious way or whatever. And people tried to make a big deal out of it rather than like, that dude's drunk, said something stupid, wasn't supposed to be recorded. Let's move on. There's nothing, Morgan Wallen's not some flaming racist out here leading Klan rallies. He's a drunk idiot, which we've all been. I certainly have. And so, anyway.
That's not the humor, though. The humor is not even in the word. It is the reaction, her reaction. She's mortified that it sounded like, that's where the humor is. The refreshing part is she's like, that didn't sound like what I thought it sounded like.
Yes.
That's where the real humor is.
Steve, final thought.
Yeah, well, that's the funniest thing she's said in about 15 years. But here's the thing, though, and Jason, you spoke about this at length years ago. Don Imus would have never known what even the term nappy-headed hose would have meant, or if it even existed, if hip-hop did not amplify it. And many of the times that it was said in hip-hop, it was a derogatory term, FUBU, for us, by us. And that's what, and you're absolutely right about how did this term become so ubiquitous that everyone knows it. But as a concerned crouching tiger who does not know Miss Beadle, let me just give you just this sound advice. When talking about that particular basketball team, whether it's Jokic or Dan Issel or T.R. Dunn or Alex English, whether it's the history, whether it's the past, whatever, just refer to them as Denver. Denver from here on out. That's it. Just Denver. Simple. Denver.
Steve.
The omelet.
My nugget, I'm going to let you go.
What'd you say? What'd you say? Better stop that Asian hate. Better stop that Asian hate.
Don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content.